Here we go. The long version of how to graph sine and cosine. To do it the long version, we're going to start with a unit circle. So here's my unit circle. And I'm going to label just the four corners. This is 0. This is pi over 2. This is pi. This is 3 pi over 2. And 0 is the same as 2 pi. Next, I'm going to put just the sines and cosines on those four corners. This point is to the right, which means that its x value is positive 1. This point is up. Up is a y value. This point is left. Left is a negative x value. This point is down. Down is a negative y value. Remember that the cosine comes first and the sine comes next on all of these. This will help us make a table. I'm going to make a table in, let's do red, for the sines. First, I'm going to put the angle, and then I'm going to put the sine of that angle over there. My first angle was 0. My second angle is pi over 2. My third angle is pi. My fourth angle is 3 pi over 2, and then I come back around to 2 pi. At 0, the sine value, remember the sine value is the y value, so at 0, the sine is 0. At pi over 2, the sine is 1. At pi, the sine is 0. At 3 pi over 2, the sine is at negative 1. And when I come back to 2 pi, the sine value comes back to 0. I have 5 points now to graph on my sine curve. My x values are 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. At 0, the point I'm plotting is 0, 0. Then I plot pi over 2, 1. Then I plot pi, 0. 3 pi over 2, negative 1. And finally 2 pi, 0. There's my points. Connect them. Cosine, we can use the same unit circle that we already did. I'm going to do it in orange so we can see the difference. Now I'm looking for the cosine of those angles. And remember, cosine is the x value. So when the angle is 0, the cosine is 1. When the angle is pi over 2, the cosine is 0. When the angle is pi, the cosine is negative 1. That was that one. When the angle is 3 pi over 2, the cosine is back to 0. And when the angle comes all the way around to 2 pi, my cosine comes back up to 1. Now I've got 5 points, so I can make my graph. It's going to be a little squishier, sorry. Pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi are my angles. 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi are my angles. My y values are 1. Pi over 2 goes to 0. Pi is negative 1. 3 pi over 2 is 0. And 2 pi is positive 1. So this one's the cosine. And this one's the sine. Feel free to draw all of this as you're practicing, and maybe even all of this as you make the quiz. Do this over and over and over again until it becomes second nature. Keep practicing.